Senator Wiener, you may finally close.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and thank you, colleagues. This has been a very robust debate with maybe not every perspective on planet Earth represented, but many of them, and that's one of the beautiful things about the California State Senate, that we can have these robust conversations. You know, I want to, just looking big picture, because there was a talk before, and I have the senator, the chair of the Housing Committee and I actually have a fantastic relationship, and we agree on many, many things. We have some fundamental disagreements on housing, and I respect that. But I do want to just say, because there was a reference made to like the last few years and the housing bills we passed. And it's really been, that work started about 10 years ago, before I got here, with work around accessory dwelling units, ADUs. It took a number of years, probably 5 or 6 years, to really perfect that. And ADU production in California is exploding. It took time. Nothing with housing is fast, but it's happening. So some of the laws that we've been passing in the last 2, 3, 4 years, during a pandemic and high interest rates and everything else, we are laying strong groundwork in California. But I want to just say, because sometimes when people, they look at these laws we're passing and we're building things and maybe people are being displaced or this bad thing or that bad thing is happening. Let's look at the 50 years before we started to do that. Because it was in the 1970s that this state decided that it was no longer important to build housing, and we basically stopped. What happened in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, et cetera? Explosive housing costs and massive displacement. That's the status quo. And it's a status quo that is strangling California that we're trying to change. And what this bill does, it's very simple. Yes, it's a long bill. Everything is complicated when it's written in ledge council form. It's a simple idea. Let's have more housing near transit. And yes, the details matter. And we have been working on those. I do want to say, and this is not a criticism of any member of this body, this is a factual observation, that in the 2 policy committees, we had disagreements with the chairs. And so some of the work that would normally happen in those committees in terms of refining a bill got delayed. But we're doing that work, and we're going to continue to do that work, and we're going to make this bill as good as it can be. Sometimes we have debates about, no, this is the right kind of housing. We should only do market rate housing, or we should only do below market rate housing, or we should only do dense housing, or only do single family homes. My view is, let's do all of it. We need every kind of housing in California, and when we pit different kinds of housing against each other, it just drags everything down. I'm for all of it, because below market rate housing is incredibly important. And when my first bill that I mentioned before that I ever introduced, Sb79, some of the arguments that were made today about displacement were made about Sb79, that it was going to be a mass displacement mechanism. Sb79 in San Francisco, that's what I know best, has resulted in more than 4,000 below market rate homes in just one city. And so sometimes I know that there is sometimes fear or concern about doing something differently and what it might do. And sometimes that fear does not bear out. And we're going to continue to work very hard on this bill, if you give me the opportunity to do so, to make it as good as it can be so that it adds dramatic benefit to California on housing, on transit, and that we have just a better future for these incredibly important aspects of our great state. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Alvarado Gil. No. Archuleta. Adeguin. Aye. Ashby. Aye. Becker. Blakespear. Cabaldon. Aye. Caballero. Aye. Cervantes. Aye. Choi. No. Cortese. Daly. Aye. Durazo. No. Gonzalez. Aye. Grayson. Aye. Grove. Aye. Hurtado. Jones. No. Laird. Aye. Limon. McGuire. Aye. McNerney. Aye. Menjivar. No. Nilo. No. Ochoa Bog. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Perez. Aye. Reyes. Richardson. Rubio. Ciarto. No. Smallwood Cuevas. Stern. No. Strickland. No. Umberg. Aye. Valadares. No. Wahab. No. Weber Pearson. Wiener. Aye.
Please call the absent members.
Allen. Archuleta. Becker. Becker, aye. Blakespear. Cortezi. Hurtado. Limon. Reyes. Richardson. Rubio. Smallwood Cuevas. Weber Pearson. Aye.
Senator Wiener moves the call. Finally, please open the roll call on file item 143.
Allen. Archuleta. No. Blakespear. No. Cortezi. Hurtado. Aye. Limon. Reyes. Richardson. Rubio. Smallwood Cuevas.
Please call the absent members one more time.
Allen. Cortezi. Limon. Reyes. Richardson. Rubio. Smallwood Cuevas.
Senator Wiener moves the call. Secretary, please open the roll call on file item 143 and call the absent members.
Allen. Cortezi. Limon. Reyes. Richardson. Aye. Rubio. Smallwood Cuevas.
Ayes 21, noes 13, measure passes.